Look, let's not beat around the bush here. We all know Pele was absolutely magic on the pitch. The man was basically footballing Shakespeare. If Shakespeare had also invented the bicycle kick and could score goals with his head from like the parking lot. But, and this is a big but even the most celebrated figures have their shadows, and tonight we're diving headfirst into the lesser-known side of Pele. The controversies, the criticisms, the stuff they don't put in the highlight reels. Now before you grab your pitchforks and accuse me of disrespecting a legend, let me be clear. Acknowledging someone's flaws doesn't diminish their achievements, it just makes them more human. And frankly, after decades of unadulterated praise, I think it's time we had a more nuanced conversation about Pele. So, buckle up because we're about to unpack some uncomfortable truths about the king of football. From his fiery feud with Maradona to allegations of match fixing, we're leaving no stone unturned. This isn't your average hagiography, folks, this is about to get real. Ah, the beautiful game, known for its grace, its passion, and its absolutely brutal rivalries. And few were as brutal or as public as the one between Pele and Diego Maradona. These two titans of the sport, both considered among the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots, spent decades trading verbal blows like they were trying to win the heavyweight championship of trash talk. Maradona, never one to mince words, once famously accused Pele of being a puppet of FIFA, more concerned with towing the company line than speaking truth to power. And, look, I'm not saying Maradona was right, but you have to admit the man had a point about FIFA being a bit suspect. Pele, for his part, wasn't afraid to throw some jabs of his own. He often questioned Maradona's leadership qualities, which, given some of Maradona's, shall we say, extracurricular activities, wasn't entirely off base. And he certainly didn't shy away from criticizing Maradona's struggles with addiction, which, okay, maybe not the classiest move, Pele. But here's the thing about their feud. It wasn't all animosity and name-calling. There were moments, however fleeting, of genuine respect and admiration. Like that time they shared a stage, awkwardly hugging it out for the cameras. Or when Maradona, after years of relentless criticism, finally acknowledged Pele's greatness, albeit in his own, slightly backhanded way. Ultimately their rivalry, like the sport they both loved, was a complex and often contradictory affair. Full of passion, pettiness, brilliance, and, dare I say, a strange sort of love. Let's be honest, FIFA's reputation is about as clean as a football pitch after a particularly muddy match. And unfortunately for Pele, his close ties to the organization haven't exactly done him any favors in the court of public opinion. See, Pele has always been FIFA's golden boy, their poster child for everything good and pure about the sport. But as we all know, the shinier the object, the more we question what's lurking beneath the surface. Critics have accused Pele of being too cozy with FIFA's often corrupt leadership, particularly former President João Havelange, a man whose name is practically synonymous with shady dealings. And look, I get it, it's not exactly shocking for a global icon to rub shoulders with powerful people. But when you're constantly singing the praises of an organization that's been embroiled in scandal after scandal, well, let's just say it raises a few eyebrows. Then there's the whole issue of Pele's, shall we say, enthusiastic embrace of commercial endorsements. From Coca-Cola to MasterCard, the man has hawked more products than a telethon host during a pledge drive. Now, I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with athletes cashing in on their fame, but when you're raking in millions from multinational corporations while millions in your home country are struggling, it's understandable why some might see you as more of a corporate shill than a man of the people. You'd think being hailed as a national treasure would come with universal adoration. But in Pele's case, even in Brazil, the love hasn't always been unconditional. Some of his harshest critics have come from within the ranks of Brazilian football itself. Legends like Romário and Edmundo haven't held back, publicly calling out Pele for what they see as his out-of-touch comments about modern players. Romário, never one to bite his tongue, famously quipped, "Pele is a poet when he doesn't speak," which, if we're being honest, is a pretty savage burn. But the criticism goes deeper than just on-field disagreements. Pele's silence during Brazil's military dictatorship, a period marked by oppression and human rights abuses, has left a stain on his legacy for many. While some argue that he was simply trying to protect himself and his family, others see it as a betrayal of his platform and his people. It's a complicated issue, and there's no easy answer. But one thing's for sure, even in the land where he's revered as a god, Pele's legacy is not without its blemishes. Chapter 4. Family Matters. the off-pitch controversies of a global icon. Look, we all know that being a global icon doesn't automatically make you a saint in your personal life. And Pele, for all his on-field brilliance, has had his fair share of family dramas and off-pitch controversies. We're talking about multiple marriages, children born out of wedlock, and paternity disputes that would make even the most seasoned soap opera writer blush. There was the very public and very messy situation with Sandra Regina, a woman who had to fight for years to have Pele acknowledge her as his daughter. DNA tests eventually proved her right, but even then, their relationship remained strained, a sad footnote in the life of a man who seemed to have it all. And then there's the case of his son, Edinho, whose struggles with drug trafficking and money laundering landed him behind bars and cast a dark shadow over the family name. It's a reminder that even the most famous and successful people can't always outrun the demons that haunt their loved ones. These personal scandals, while separate from Pele's achievements on the pitch, inevitably colored public perception of him. It's hard to maintain an image of unwavering perfection when your personal life reads like a tabloid headline. Chapter 5. The New York question: did Pele sell out for the almighty dollar? In 1975, Pele made a move that shocked the football world. He joined the New York Cosmos of the fledgling North American Soccer League. Now, on the surface, it seemed like a strange choice. Why would the world's greatest player, at the peak of his powers, abandon the hallowed grounds of Brazil for a league that was, let's be honest, a bit Mickey Mouse compared to the European giants? Well, 2 words: cold, hard cash. The Cosmos offered Pele a king's ransom, a deal so ludicrously lucrative that it would make even Scrooge McDuck blush. And who could blame him for taking it? After all, the man had a legacy to secure, a family to provide for, and let's be real, a brand to build. But not everyone was thrilled with his decision. Many Brazilians saw it as a betrayal, a sign that Pele had chosen money over national pride. They argued that he should have tested himself against the best in Europe, like his contemporaries had done. Instead, he opted for what they perceived as a glorified retirement league, a place where he could coast on his reputation and rake in the dough. Was it a sellout move? Perhaps, but it also helped popularize soccer in America, paving the way for the sport's eventual growth into the behemoth it is today. So, swings and roundabouts. Chapter 6. The 1970 World Cup, a triumph or a fix? Ah, the 1970 World Cup, a tournament etched in footballing lore. Brazil, led by the majestic Pele, swept aside all comers, playing with a swagger and artistry that left fans breathless. It was a performance for the ages, a crowning achievement in the sport's history. But like a shadowy figure lurking on the edge of a celebratory bonfire, there have always been whispers, murmurs of something sinister lurking beneath the surface of this glorious victory. Conspiracy theories abound, suggesting that Brazil's triumph wasn't just about talent and determination, but about something far more insidious: match-fixing. The theory goes that Brazil's military dictatorship, desperate for a distraction from its brutal regime, and eager to boost national morale, pulled some strings behind the scenes to ensure a victory. And Pele, the nation's golden boy, was their unwitting pawn. Now, it's important to note that there's no concrete evidence to support these claims. But the rumors persist, fueled by the dictatorship's well-documented history of corruption and its tight grip on all aspects of Brazilian life, including sport. It's a stain on what should be an untarnished legacy, a nagging question mark that lingers over one of the greatest sporting achievements of all time. Was it a fix? We may never know for sure. But the fact that the question even exists speaks volumes about the murky waters that can sometimes surround even the most celebrated events. Chapter 7. The complicated legacy of a footballing god. So, there you have it, the good, the bad, and the downright messy of Pele's life and career. It's a lot to unpack, right? We've gone from breathtaking goals to bitter feuds, from corporate endorsements to family scandals, and from whispers of match-fixing to the very real struggles of a nation grappling with dictatorship. It's enough to make your head spin. But here's the thing, none of it diminishes Pele's genius on the pitch. The man was a magician with a ball at his feet, a once-in-a-generation talent who redefined what was possible in the beautiful game. But it does remind us that even our idols are human, flawed, and complex creatures capable of both greatness and missteps. And maybe that's okay. Maybe it's time we moved beyond simplistic narratives of heroes and villains and embraced the messy, complicated truth. Because in the end, it's the imperfections that make us human, and the ability to acknowledge them that makes us wise. While Pele's legacy as a football legend remains intact, these controversies show that even the greatest athletes are not free from criticism.